Welcome back, guys. I'm Gary.
I'm Gary Sr.
And we're with Automatic Door and Hardware. We're a manufacturer of commercial doors, automatic doors, and the parts and hardware that go with those doors. So if you like learning about doors and hardware, then you've come to the right place. Each day we try to produce 2 or 3 videos related to this. So if this interests you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Okay guys, so in today's video, we thought we'd go over how to install our Ranger storefront door system in a masonry, brick, or CMU concrete type of installation. And Gary Sr. is going to go over this.
Yeah. What you'd want would be to use a plastic plug and a screw. And the way it would be installed is you take your frame after it's been assembled, the frame with all the screws in it, holding all the verticals to the horizontal, and if you have a threshold, the threshold would be attached to the bottom of your verticals. You take the whole assembly and put it in the hole that you're going to fill, and you'd want to pay attention to if you're centering that in the hole, or if you're going to hold it to the exterior, then you'd have to set it inside or outside to your liking. Once that's in the opening, you can push it against the hinge side of the door, against your opening. And when you're pushing that, you can put a level up there and just see how level it is for the vertical on the hinge side. If you notice it's way out, then the side that isn't going to be adjusted for the in or out of level, you'd want to take and drill a hole through the center of that tube, maybe like a 1/4-inch hole, and you'd want to countersink that hole. And the countersink would be no deeper than what your screw heads will require. If you use a number 10 screws, then you'd have less of a countersink than if you were using number 12. You got to be careful on this, because if you get overzealous, you may countersink that hole all the way through and not have anything to attach your screws to. If you did do a mistake like that, you could easily fix that mistake by pulling the frame back out and putting some duct tape on the inside on the inside of the frame that would go against the wall, and then simply get the correct color caulking and fill that hole, and that hole will disappear, and then you can drill a new one. And but anyway, you'd want to take that screw, the first screw you're going to put in, and get it started, and then you'd want to maybe snug that down so that just barely snug, and then shim out the other side, depending on whether you're shimming the bottom out or the top out to make it level. And after you've got this level, then you would want to use a plumb bob on there to make sure that jamb that the hinge side is on is perfectly plumb, which is very important to get that door to work properly. Once you've drilled that first hole through there, and you have it countersunk to the correct depth, then you'd want to use a rotary drill with a masonry tip and drill into the concrete. And once that is drilled into the concrete, then you'd want to take the plastic plug that you have, and it's easily put in there. If you take your screw and screw it into the plug a little bit, then you can take a hammer and tap that plastic plug right into your hole that you've made in the masonry. Then the screw would go into that plastic plug for attaching, You'd want to do the same on the bottom after you shimmed it and plumbed it. Very important to have that plumb, and depending on your opening, you may have to put shims, more shims against your hinge side of that vertical jamb, depending on if you want that frame centered in the opening so that you have a 1/4 inch clearance all the way around your frame. Once you've determined that, then you can set those screws tight, and then you're going to go to the lock side and do the same thing all over again, and make sure that everything is straight. One of the most important things about doing the screwing that particular door in is doing the caulking afterward. Oftentimes those storefront doors may only have 2 screws on each jamb holding them in. We recommend at least 3 to 4 screws, but it's the caulking that holds that frame in place once it sets and dries, to give it the actual strength that it needs to hold itself in there. We recommend too that even on your lock side of the door, that maybe you have 1 screw in on the top, and shim properly to go ahead and hang your door without attaching the bottom of your jamb tube, and then you can bring that jamb tube, once that door is closed, you can bring the jamb tube in closer to the rail or bring it out farther away, and you can get a perfect fit on there. If you didn't do that, you can still hang your door with the screws, and you can always loosen them and apply more shims or less shims, depending on what you need to get that set in that opening perfectly. And you do have to pay attention to that door being plumb. Not only are you leveling that door from the inside of the jambs, you're also leveling it from the outside of the jambs to make it work properly. That would really be about it.
Yep. So that's guys, how you essentially install really any storefront door frame into a masonry type of rough opening. If you guys have any questions about this, feel free to email us at sales@autodoorandhardware.com or leave a comment below. If you're in the need for new storefront doors, of course we recommend our own brand that we manufacture, and that is Ranger storefront doors. Those are all available at autodoorandhardware.com. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.